Hello and welcome all to another episode of the Spooky Horror Show podcast. I'm your host Sean, and today I am solo. No spoiler cast, I just want to quickly talk about a movie I saw last night, Steve Lamort's Screamboat. But before all that, remember, if you'd like to support us on YouTube, you can subscribe, leave a like and a comment. All of that helps with the algorithm and engagement. You can also follow and rate us on any and all podcast services, which also help with visibility and charting. Links for everything are in the description below. I had so much fun watching this movie. Written by Lamort and Matthew Garcia Dunn, the team understood the assignment when it came to Screamboat and adapting Steamboat Willie for the horror genre. The kills and the gore were fun. The gags were great. Some of them had us in the theater just cracking up. The acting was really good, and that was kind of a surprise for me. A surprise is the wrong word. I've experienced a lot of really bad acting in low-budget horror films. I found that just about every public domain horror movie that has come out so far has been filled with terrible acting. But that is not the case with Screamboat. Everyone from the princesses to the people playing the deckhands, the other passengers on the ferry, like everyone was like spot on. New Yorkers will definitely be able to tell, will be able to tell you that, like, sitting on a ferry, the people here that you see on the ferry doing like all the weird shit is 100% the shit that you're gonna see on a Staten Island ferry. Like it's just like they've absolutely rode that ferry back and forth enough. They know. I do wish we spent a little bit more time with the princesses, but it is what it is. In regards to like the acting, like the big call to action that happens at one point on the ferry with I believe it's Jesse Cove. He played Lieutenant Diaz. He was one of the cops on the ferry. Like the big like call to action speech that he has and everyone rallying around him was so fucking funny. The whole scene with that was so funny. It was so great. Another problem with low budget horror is that cinematography is usually pretty bad. But again, this is not the case with Screamboat. The film looked great. The color grade was great. Costume design was amazing. The princesses all looked awesome. I've seen everywhere that the Rory character was supposed to be Rapunzel, but my wife pointed out that she thinks she was actually supposed to be Sleeping Beauty, like because her name is Princess Aurora, Rory, so it makes sense. Plus the character was always yawning throughout the entire time, like the entire film. I'm also assuming that the character of Pete is supposed to be Captain Pete from the Steamboat Willie cartoon, but that would also mean that he is Pete the Cat from Goof Troop and a Goofy Movie, so I'm assuming that's who that's supposed to be. I wonder if Selena, right? Yeah, Selena is supposed to be princess or not. Like she has a book with her name written in like fairy tale font and stuff, and it's weird if she's like the only like non-princess that's like there. All the little Disney quotes and little Easter eggs were great, but star of the show was Steamboat Willie himself. David Howard Thornton was great as Willie. His mannerisms, his playfulness, hell, his straight up cartoonishness really made him fun to watch. The character design and makeup looked gross and awesome. My only complaint was that because he's supposed to be a very large, small mouse, David's scenes as Willie were green screened while the rest of the actors reacted to like a puppet of Steamboat Willie. And I get it, concessions need to be made, but some of the shots just didn't look good. Like the backgrounds looked off a little bit and didn't really match the rest of the scene, but that's honestly my only complaint for this movie. But I love how they made the lore of Steamboat Willie. It's really cool. I really enjoyed this movie. The only theater by me playing Screamboat was about 20 miles away, or about like 45 minutes. And the only showtime for yesterday, Wednesday, when I saw it, I guess it would be like opening night or whatever, was one showing at 7:10. that's it. And for a Wednesday night, I expected the theater to be pretty much empty. There were people that ended up showing up, but the people that were there when those comedic bits hit, people were laughing their asses off. So I could only imagine what a full theater would sound like with everyone laughing like that, with some of the sight gags that were happening. For me, since this is just me today, this is a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I like this movie so much. It's so much friggin' fun. Everyone should go see this movie, because again, my only complaint was some of the green screen effects were weird, and they never really showed in any of the trailers, which could be a good thing. I don't really know. The trailers basically show Willie, David Howard Thornton as Steamboat Willie, the princesses, Rory, Jazzy, Cindy, Bella, and whatever the Little Mermaid one was. But they're not really in it as much as the trailers would make you like think. The real stars of this, and it's weird because even on their IMDb, the top cast really isn't the top cast. I think the only person here, like in the that they have as top cast on the IMDb page is I just saw him. Obviously David Howard Thornton as Screamboat Willie, Screamboat, Steamboat, whatever. I think they call him Steamboat at one point, but Screamboat. I could have sworn, and Jesse Posey as Pete. But the other, and I think was Amber there? EMT Amber? Yeah, and EMT Amber, played by Amy Schumacher. But the other star, who arguably you spend the most time with, and you see the majority of the stuff happening through her eyes, is Selena, played by Allison Piddle, who I don't know if she's really from like Minnesota or something. Her character says that she's from like Minnesota or something. She's like, I'm gonna get out of here. But every time she talks, she just has like a super thick New York accent. So I'm like, if she's really from like another state, she's spent way too much time in New York, because I would have just thought that every single person in this was just a New Yorker. They all have a Northeast, like East Coast accent. But God, every time the princesses started opening their mouths and started like pretty much yell, they spent the entire time like yell talking, especially Cindy. It was like, holy crap. And she did amazing. Kaylee Hyman played Cindy, who we know Kaylee from Terrifier 2 as Brooke. She was also in A Man Called Otto, which I wanted to see, but then I kind of don't want to see because it seems like a real bummer of a movie. But yeah, she was really good. She reminded me of just about every single girl that I went to high school and college with that I just vehemently tried to avoid because of just the voice, just the high pitch, the whininess. It's all right there, and it's just chef's kiss. I loved it so much. For those that don't know, I'm a good old Staten Island boy, born and raised, and I've spent many a late night, early morning riding the ferry home after a night of drinking, watching the boat rock drunks to sleep, the party girls heading home after a wild night at the bars and clubs, stumbling around, yell talking until they just give up and sit on the stairs, drunk juice heads puking and trying to pick fights with everyone, or my personal favorite, sitting outside, letting the night air and the sounds of the crashing waters around the boat sober me up before I have to continue my trek home. Although I've lived in Austin for over a decade now, I do still miss home. 4 out of 5, go see this movie. It's a lot of fun. From what I saw from screenings, it's only going to be in theaters for a limited time. I don't know when it's getting a digital release. If they have like a collector's edition 4K Blu-ray thing, like I fucking want it. I want it like immediately. Thank you everybody very much for stopping by the Spooky Horror Show podcast. Remember, leave if you're on YouTube, subscribe for more content. We have a whole bunch of other videos. If you are listening or watching on Spotify, please follow, rank, leave us a comment. All that helps. As I said earlier, we're also on all the other podcast services, but thank you everybody very much for stopping by. And next time I see you, Anthony and I will be talking about the movie Return to Bloodfart Lake and how utterly awful that movie is. Bye.